right, good evening. I would like to call the Board of Public Works public hearing to order. Can I have a reading of the?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Wait, then I.
Great.
Are those the minutes or the opening?
That was the opening. So today we're here to set the fiscal year 2023 water and sewer rates. We've had initial conversations about it before. I think the whole picture is that we're gonna set them for now. We're going to look at them going forward and maybe restructure them at some future point. But we need to do it now because water sewer bills are being prepared and we can't miss this date. So, Mr. Buckley, could you remind us about what the rates are and what we're looking at, maybe a little bit more in detail?
Sure. Two quick things. One, the rates you're voting on tonight are to comply with the budget that was passed at this spring's town meeting. So for us to be able to fund the water and sewer budget that we approved at the town meeting, we have to raise funds to accomplish that. So currently, we only have access to rates. If you wanted to take some other action at a later date, you'd have to do that via town meeting. All right, so to meet those rates, to meet that budget, we're calling for a 12% increase in water and a 5% increase in wastewater. We're also increasing some quarterly fees, namely the water construction fee from $16.15 to $38.13, and the sewer one from $13 to $19.67. In addition to that, we're actually lowering the II charge from $33.25 to $25 to reflect the work we had done recently with basically problems with the meter at the town line. We estimate the average will be about $60 per quarter for a single-family home increase. The only thing I want to point out that I hadn't pointed out in past meetings, the unit charges I mentioned, basically for the borrowed money, the $38 and the $19.67 and the $25 quarterly for II, the water loan and the sewer loan, those are made per unit. So some facilities in town have several units on one meter, namely Countryside Estates and Devereaux and a couple apartment buildings. So they pay per unit. So we have like 2,300 units. More and more. By example, we have like 1,700 accounts. Some accounts have multiple units on one meter.
So a unit is a single-family home, or
Multiple units that they have just one meter and they pay it that way.
Perfect.
Any questions? I have a signed copy of the letter from July 1st where I suggested the rates. Do you want that now?
If I may, I have a question.
Sure.
Joe, thank you. I know there had been conversation in one of the prior meetings about still working with the consulting firm. I forget the name off the top of my head. It wasn't Weston Sampson. It was through them. Yes, the Abrams Group. Is the plan still to work with them to look at, given the change in borrowing that we had done this year because of rates and everything, is there still the plan to work with the Abrams Group? I can't remember where we left that. I think we had kind of gone back and forth as to the best way to manage that. So I wasn't sure from...
At the time, as far as I know, the board had decided to debate that at a later date.
Okay.
Because it's expensive. I mean, to hire them, it's $20,000 or so to get them to come in and rewrite the rate study.
Right.
We were able to manipulate the rate study quite a bit to generate this rate.
Right. I thought there had been conversation about whether or not...
We had conversations about whether to do something along those lines, but at the time, the group agreed not to fund.
Okay, and I wasn't sure if I couldn't remember if there was conversation also about using some retained earnings to fund that study, if there was value in that or not.
The only thing if you mind if I answer directly, you don't have to follow procedure. Okay. There was talk of using retained earnings to pay some of the debt because we financed. I wrote it down.
I have the numbers in my
No,
email.
Article 9, November 14th, 2019, the town voted to borrow $3 million. And for improvements to water and sewer infrastructure. And we borrowed all the money a year ago and we have to start paying on that debt. So the conversation at the time was, is there any wisdom, because the notes are front-end loaded, or the bonds are heavier on the front. Would we want to use some retained earnings to take some of the curse off of the borrowed money? That's what the discussion was. And it's a good point, because also if we stay true to form, next year we can lower some of the borrowing fees as a result of that, and those should drop over time. One of the things I noticed when I sat down to do this, we haven't done anything with quarterly fees in some time.
Through the chair, do you have the rate and term on that $3 million?
I sent it to the board, I don't have it on
You
the
don't,
top
you don't
of
have
my
it
head.
right there. It's okay. I can look at it.
And just
I'm like-
a little further regarding Abrams or another group, we have been in touch or are in the process of getting in touch with a company called RCAP, which may be able to do this for little to nothing. So,
That's what I said, I need that one back, that's what I sent the board. I know that the rates were extremely favorable.
it was like point something.
Yes, it's minute. The treasurer collector did an excellent job getting us the best possible rate, so.
So it's, I'm sure it's a fairly short term though, right?
No.
It says 5. Oh, no, is that a 5-year cap? It's the 5-year capital plan. It's not the 5-year term.
Is it 20?
I think I sent that, right?
Yeah.
I think it's
I
20.
I can check it.
Um,
Did you need that?
20,
No,
they're
it's-
20-year notes.
I think they're 20. So yes, we will be looking at the rate. We're just hoping to be able to do it through another company that's not going to charge us. This is what they do. They have funding to support town municipalities, so.
I have reached out. I will reach out shortly before tonight's meeting to RCAP again, Mr. Starboard, Jim Starboard, and did leave another message. There were no messages from him while I was out last week, but I will continue to hunt that down.
Okay. At some point, we need to be weighing that with their responsiveness or lack of also, so, but that's that. All right, and,
What I can say is the previous rate setter was extremely comprehensive. And the only motivation behind hiring or bringing that other firm back is we found some serious problems in our sewer system, and the manner in which we borrow money wasn't always clear in the study, so.
excellent.
Thank you, Joe.
If we could take a motion in second and then have more
Close.
discussion if we
You have
want.
to
Close
close
the
it.
hearing.
Close the hearing, thank you. Any other discussion before I close the hearing then? Any other questions? Okay, I will close the public.
Motion to close the hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Wait a
Nichols,
minute.
All right.
Motion to approve the new sewer audit rates.
aye. Second.
Any discussion? Okay, roll call.
Clock eye.
Galvin, aye.
Benoit, aye.
Nichols eye?
Waitman, aye.
All right.
Thank you, Joe, for all the work that you've been doing to try to make it as least burdensome as possible while still maintaining service.
The only thing I wanted to say before, and I forgot to mention it during the hearing, the money that was borrowed has really actually helped benefit the town quite a bit. We were able to find some serious problems on the wastewater side that we're still addressing even now. And we did a lot of water main replacement in the Inwood Road area and on Palmagussit. So the residents have, definitely benefited from the money they borrowed. There was a vote to borrow the money in the first place. That the town clearly said we want to make these improvements. It's just early in the borrowing process, those numbers are higher. That's all.
It's
If I
always
can,
that
through
way.
the chair, to Mr. Buckley. Joe, the inserts will be ready for the
Yeah, it's just a slip of paper. It shouldn't be too bad.
Okay. Okay.
I also, can I get a motion to approve the meeting minutes from the July, meeting?
July
11?
11th. Motion to approve minutes as written.
Second.
Roll call,
Clock eye.
Galvin abstain.
Waitman, aye.
Nichols eye?
and Benoit, aye. If there's not anything else, is there a motion?
Motion to adjourn the public works
Second.
meeting.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Waitman, aye.
Thank you.